Friends, today and tomorrow we'll discuss about the Biodiversity Act of India 2002. It is an important act. As such, directly do not have any link to the intellectual property right, but it has a greater importance in terms of protecting the biodiversity of this country. Therefore, I thought of discussing about this. And the very beginning itself, one of the participants asked whether the Biodiversity Act will be discussed. Therefore, we will be dealing with that today. Now, what are the outlines of today's lecture? We discuss only Biodiversity Act of India 2002. Of course, it may require one more session, that is introduction. What is the importance of the India's biodiversity? We see in that. Requirement of national legislation. We have NBA, the National Biodiversity Authority. Role of NBA is to biological resources. Of course, we'll see all those things in detail. Now, when I say biodiversity, what picture you get in your mind? So this is a small forest. You can call it eco forest. We call it as Alvana at St. Aloysius College, Mangalore. Within the city only, we are able to preserve a small area of land in the original form. Preservation of forest. I thought of sharing this picture to you because you see the beauty of nature only when you go to the forest, specifically the dense forest. Anyway, and also I thought of sharing one of the very important pictures. So this is a picture of a frog. It's an endangered species. It is discovered by our colleague in the year 2018. Name is given to Microhyla cordial. Cordial means mango. This is one of the species of frog found in Western Ghats of this region. Therefore, it is a biological resource. It's a new species. Then this is another species discovered a few years before. One of our colleagues, Professor Harish Joshi, discovered this. Eucalyptus aloysi. The aloysi name is given to respect his work in St. Aloysius College. And last year, a postal cover is released in the name of this frog. That is also one endangered species of Western. I thought of putting these two pictures so that I thought it's relevant to today's topic. Fine. Now, what is important in biodiversity? Just we look at India's rich resources. So it is said India is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries. We may be a very small country, but among the biodiversity, our place is 12. That means among 12, India is one of them. That's a rich biodiversity. And probably some of you may be knowing the famous Earth Summit took place at Rio de Janeiro in the year 1992, where all the world countries, most of them, came together for the convention. Their aim to look at the biological diversity of this world. There are about 194 signatories to this convention, and they collectively took the responsibility of protecting the biodiversity of this Mother Earth. Now, why India is so important? Say we have very gifted ecosystems. We have tropical rainforests, high alpine cold deserts, we have grasslands, we have wetlands, we have coast. Our countries largely cover the coastal regions. So this is the very special kind of ecosystems what India has. And India also has embraces three major biological rhythms. Say biologically, the importance of this probably the people who studied geography or biology may understand, but still, say we have Indo-Malayan systems, we have Eurasian systems, and Afro-tropical regions. Therefore, India is so diverse country. We have 10 biogeographic zones. The biological people and geographical experts classified India as 10 biogeographical zones. We have 26 biotic provinces. See the richness of the country. Therefore, just I thought of mentioning all those things. Also, India accounts for 8% of the recorded species of the world. There may be huge number of species which are not recorded by scientists or explorers because some regions of the earth still people are not able to reach. Whether it's earth, under the sea, or cold regions, people cannot reach. Still, among the recorded species, India alone possesses 8% of the species. We have millions of races, subspecies, and local varieties of species, and the ecological processes and cycles that link organisms into population, communities, and all different ecosystems. See, this talks about richness of our country, richness of our country. So we have around 45,000 species of plants, representing as much of 11% of the world flora. It's recorded in his paper there. 45,000 species of plants. That's alone 11% of the world recorded plant species. 17,500 species of flowering plants, 48 species of gymnosperms, 1,200 species of bradophytes, 980 species of mosses, 845 species of liverworts, 6,500 species of algae, 2,050 species of lichens, 40,500 species of fungi, and 850 species of bacteria. These are the recorded, I am telling. There may be much more which you have gone without notice. All this have come from the work of Botanical Survey of India, who made a study and made an attempt to record these items. They documented the species. Right. Now, if you look at the animal species, there are recorded 89,450 species of animals, which includes 59,353 species of insects alone. Just you can imagine the amount of insects we have in this country. 372 species of mammals, 1,230 species of birds, 428 species of reptiles, 300 species of amphibians, 5,000 species of mollusks. See, you may wonder how would you get all this data in one bunch. Mr. K. Venkatraman, who did a research paper which is published in Tropical Ecology in the year 2009. Paper, all these recordings are done. Say, why I am referring to this data? because that will tell you how big industry is. Say we are not talking about the cultivated items. We have freshwater fishing, right? We have huge coastal regions. I told you how it helps the socio-economic system of this country. That's first more important one. We have about 4 million tons of fish capturing capacity. We have about 4 million tons of fish capturing capacity, and which will be in turn can produce about 8 million tons of fish products per year. That is a huge economy for India. Not only that, why it is so important is the economy is expanding and we are become more and more greedy. The human population is increasing. Once human population is increasing, what it does, people acquire forest as agricultural land, urbanization takes place. As a result, large projects like constructing dam, buildings, in a way, all this will lead to degradation of the forest and biological diversity. Moreover, not only that, the greediness of the people will try to acquire the products of the forest. When I say products, it may be timber, it may be the fruit kind of items, animals. It is a huge industry. Therefore, there is a very important need to have a biodiversity policy by the government. If you refer to worldwide, there are a huge number of policies. It referring to say heritage convention, then diversity conventions are took place all over the world, including WTO also shown interest in developing the policies. But this kind of policies at the world level may not help much to individual countries unless there is an international trade. For that, there is a need of having the national level policies. Therefore, the government of India implemented a policy, that is National Legislation and Implementing Agency, with the help of that 19th May 1994. Say, Convention on Biodiversity, this action is taken. What this convention provides, a framework for the sustainable management and conservation of India's natural resources. So, very important initiative taken by the government of India in the 1994. That is, the very framework says sustainable management and conservation of India's natural resources. So, management is a big word here when you're referring to the biodiversity. Similarly, the conservation. How do you conserve, what you conserve, everything depends on how things works. Therefore, if the framework is not supported by an act, people will not follow it. Or there should be a requirement of legislation by the government. Therefore, India government took initiative on that direction as well. Okay. As such, I told you what is the need of legislation to regulate access to biological resources. Who can access biological resources? Who cannot access? There is a regulatory restrictions are required. Why to regulate? Purpose of securing equitable share in the benefits arising out of the use of biological resources. Equitable share. What do you mean by equitable share? We will discuss later. Who are the parties to get the share? So not only the government, central government, state government, local government, people who live in the forest, all of them should get equal share, equitable share. Because biological resources are preserved and protected by the local people, preserved by the government agencies. There is a requirement to regulate the resources. To conserve and sustain the use of biological diversity, conservation is required. You need to preserve. Some species are in the danger of vanishing, endangered species we call. They need to be preserved. Sustain biological diversity. See that one forest is completely destroyed. The entire things here that will cause danger to the ecology, danger to the people. There's a need to sustain ecological diversity, biological diversity. To respect and protect traditional knowledge of local communities. Traditional knowledge of local communities is important. Why? Because no document is available on that. Nobody makes research on it. No written document is available. Traditional knowledge has come from mouth to mouth, generation to generation. People who live in the tribal, they know forest better than anybody. Therefore, you have to respect and protect the traditional knowledge. To secure benefit sharing with local people, I told you, local people has to be shared benefit. Who have conserved biological resources and inherited knowledge and information relating to their use of biological resources. They know what is the medicine, which is not the medicine. They know what is poison, which is not poison. They know how animals behave. They know how the life cycle of animals, birds keep changing according to the tropical changes, environmental changes. Not only that, we need to conserve natural resources. Natural resources once damaged forever. Therefore, there's a need to conserve natural resources. Not only Indian people will spoil, internationally there is a demand for certain items. There may be smuggling at international level. There is a need to secure or conserve natural resources of India. With all these broad aims and ambitions, we have the Act, Biological Diversity Act in the year 2002. This is called as BD Act, Biological Diversity Act. Now, what is the greatest benefit of this act? Section 8 of this act gives a provision, that is National Biodiversity Authority. According to Section 8, National Biodiversity Authority, NBA, was established in the year 2003. Now, this is the very, very powerful body to take decisions on behalf of the government. The important functions of this NBA is implementation of the act. Who has to implement? See, if there's a law, police people will implement. right? Here, who is the authority to implement the law? Here it is biological related, therefore there is a very competent authority, NBA. They see that the act is implemented. They not only do that, they will lay down the procedures and guidelines to govern the activities, how to deal with the biodiversity. They lay down the procedures and guidelines. They give the directions to the government, local authorities. How do you deal with the act? How do you deal with the biological diversity? When I say how do you deal with what is the procedure means what? Suppose you want some permission to enter into the forest, or you want one particular item, you have to approach this NBA, get the permission. Some are non-accessible, some are accessible. This we'll discuss in detail, but I'm telling you what is the procedure and guidelines. You have to follow the guidelines to get the information or access to these biodiversity items. Benefit sharing and intellectual property rights. According to the Article 8J of the CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, told benefit sharing and intellectual property right to be given to the respective people. Therefore, NB has the responsibility of taking care of that CBD. It has to coordinate with the activities of the state. At national level, at state level, you have state biodiversity boards. At local level, you have biodiversity management committees. They have to give the technical assistance as well as guidance. Therefore, at national level, at state level, at local level, all the matters relating to the biodiversity is taken care by this NBA. They give the procedure and guidelines to go ahead. It's very, very important role of NBA. Not only that, NBA advises the government on matters relating to conservation of biodiversity. You know, suppose there is a request to have a dam. NBA's authority to give the permission. Even still, in court you can question it, but still there is NBA's authority to give the permission to that. Okay, there is conservation of biodiversity. They see that biodiversity conserved. They guide the government. Sustainable use of its components. Once natural resources are exhausted, it is gone forever. Therefore, sustainable use of the components is very important. You need to sustain those components. Equitable sharing of benefits arising out of utilization of biological resources. If you utilize the biological resources, you get the share. It has to be equitable sharing between the state, government, people, local authorities. Along with that, it has one more important purpose, that is, select and notify the areas of biodiversity importance as biodiversity heritage sites. You might have seen some regions are protected regions, areas are protected under forest. What do? They are called biodiversity heritage sites. You see the endangered species there. Therefore, human access is limited to that area so that that species will remain there. That is also important. Now, once you are talking about this, uh, uh, talking about this biodiversity heritage sites, how to protect that site, or you can notify that region and protect it. Avoid people's entry into that. This is also very important responsibility of the NBA. See, on behalf of the government of India, NBA takes measures to protect the biological diversity of the country as well as oppose the grant of intellectual property rights to the foreign country on any biological resource obtained from India or knowledge associated with. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. As I told you, on behalf of the government, it takes measure to protect the biological diversity of the country as well as oppose the grant of intellectual property rights to any foreign country on any biological resources. Therefore, any foreign country cannot simply take the rights, intellectual property rights of these biologically important items. That's also an important task of NBA. Now, who is responsible? Who is taking care of these NBA activities? We have the National Biodiversity Authority, chaired by an eminent person having adequate knowledge and expertise in the conservation and sustainable use of biological diversity and in matters relating to equitable sharing of benefits appointed by the government of India. Who is this person? Eminent person in the area. He should have knowledge and expertise in conservation, sustainable use of biological diversity, and matters relating to equitable sharing of benefits appointed by the government of India. Presently, Dr. V.B. Mathur is an IFS officer. He is chairing NBA. It consists of 10 senior officials from government departments and 5 additional specialists as members. Of course, they select the members from various areas of biological sciences, forest departments, and scientists. The authority meets once every 3 months to oversee the work of the NBA, state biological authorities, and local authorities so that how the biological resources can be accessed by other people, they will decide. The office is located at Chennai. The NB office is located at Chennai. All right. Now, what are the rules and provisions of Biological Act? If you look at it, what are the rules? You have we have mechanism. The Act will tell you the mechanism for access and benefit sharing. Act governs access and benefit sharing through 3-tier system. What is my 3-tier system? Benefit sharing or act mechanism, ABS, what you call access and benefit sharing, will go according to 3-tier system. That is, at the national level, at the state level, State Biodiversity Board, as well as biodiversity management committees at the local levels. In this way, at 3 levels, they give the access according to the provisions of Biodiversity Act. Similarly, access to biological resources and associated traditional knowledge. How do you give the access? access to biological resources and traditional knowledge to foreign citizens, companies, non-resident Indians, based on the prior approval of NBA. Act can give access to foreign agencies, foreign citizens, companies, or enterprises only with the prior approval of NBA. The biological resources cannot be accessed by them without the approval of NBA. Access permits to Indian citizens, companies and associations and their organizations registered in India on the basis of prior intimation to the state biosecurity concern. Therefore, for Indian citizens, people or companies from India, they should get the approval from the State Biodiversity Board. It can be again granted by NBA. Similarly, there is a special provision, exemption of approval of or intimation for local people and communities, including growers and cultivators of biodiversity, Vaidyas, Hakims, practicing indigenous medicines. Therefore, remember, it is a special item because the people who practice medicine, Vaidyas in local language they call, Hakims, they cultivate and practice the biological medicine. For them, law gives exemption. Therefore, international level, state level, at local level, the Biodiversity Act gives a provision to access biological data. Okay,